Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Fractured Focus reaction to Star Wars The Last Jedi teaser that just came out. We're super pumped. I'm one of your hosts, Ben Gordon, and, of course, the illustrious brother, Dan Gordon, coming in right here. Are you excited to talk Star Wars?
Happy to be back. Happy to talk.
And it's like coffee talk for Star
right.
Wars. And I'm sure any millennials watching this are totally not going to have any idea what the hell that is.
Not our demographic.
And coming in live from the great state of Nebraska, the original Swino of Omaha himself, Matt Swinehart. Matt, you remember your nickname was Chewie in college, so every time we do a Star Wars reaction, it almost feels more appropriate having you kind of kick us off. So actually, we're going to go ahead and start with you. What did you think of the trailer? I guess we should call it a teaser.
Yeah.
Teaser, definitely teaser. I was excited to see it show up. I kind of was avoiding the internet a little bit today. And then when I gave up that effort, I saw it. So I was like super excited even before I watched it. Not a lot of content for me.
It was a teaser, definitely a teaser, not a trailer.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the teaser of Episode 7, it was kind of similar the way they just kind of hint at stuff. So it's kind of what we were expecting, right?
Yeah. Kind of interesting. Put some question marks on there, like, is Luke actually a good guy? But no, overall, I thought it was great. It's good to see. I was kind of thinking this would happen on May 4th. So it was nice to see early.
Yeah.
The what now?
May
You thought we'd see the trailer on May 4th.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the Star Wars Day.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was speculation and rumors that people were hoping that the trailer was going to come out now that the Star Wars Celebration convention is going on right now. But there was nothing official, and just the fact that we never heard anything from... I was almost kind of like thinking, I don't know, I mean, I guess it could... But I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, because there's been no rollout, and didn't Lucasfilm make a big deal? I guess that was for the final trailer, though. Maybe that was for Rogue One. I guess I don't even remember anymore. But anyway, what did you think?
Happy surprise. I liked it. It looks like they borrowed a lot from what they did the first time around with Force Awakens. Like particularly what it's the same kind of opening shot, very subtle tones, and then just kind of fade up.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
This time we see Rey instead of Finn, but you see the star fights.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, the opening is almost a perfect mirror of what they did with Finn at the teaser.
Well, and the rest of it too. I mean, you see that group of fighters kind of skimming across the desert towards the walkers, kind of reminiscent
of the.
That's
right.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Dude, you just blew my fucking mind, man.
But but kind of like with Matt, I've been trying to avoid a lot of this just because I wanted to be just fresh, kind of going into it, just kind of see it is for it is. Didn't even look into like what the I've been up until like about a week ago, didn't even know what the name of the movie was going to be. Yeah, that's kind of how standoffish I've been. So there was a lot of stuff in there, but overall, it's kind of similar to the impression from Force Awakens trailer. Gave me just enough to kind of refresh. Hey, it's coming down this Christmas.
Right.
Just enough to not ruin anything for me, but at the same time to give me enough of a flavor to want to jump in.
Pretty confident that Star Wars, above all else, is not going to do the formulaic. Here's a summary of the movie from the beginning. Here's what happens in the middle. Here's the arc that you're going to see. They're not going to do that. And I wish all movies would learn from them. Keep it vague. We really still have no fucking idea what's going to go on. I'm similar to you guys. As soon as you text me that, hey, the trailer's up, I was like, oh, man, sweet, a Star Wars trailer. As much as we talk about Star Wars on the show, ad nauseum, there's only been 7 Star Wars movies. Well, I guess 8 if you count Rogue One, in our lifetime. And so there's only a handful of trailers you get to see. So this is actually a pretty rare occurrence. And so, you get excited leading up to it and pull it up on the big screen, and I'm watching it. And, it's kind of weird. It's been, almost 2 years, a year and a half since we've seen The Force Awakens. And all of us loved that movie, right? I mean, we thought it was great. Yeah. It shit on the prequels. But... in retrospect, I'd still rather watch that movie than the prequels. No freaking question. Obviously, I don't know if it can completely capture the magic that was the original trilogy. I don't think any movie ever can. But just that the mirrored. I don't know if you want to call them plot points or whatever it is, but definitely the echoes of Episode 4 into 7 were very apparent for everybody, and that was intentional. But as time's gone by, I still love The Force Awakens. I still love popping in and watching it. I love Kylo Ren. I love what J.J. Abrams did. It had that same kind of tingling feeling you get when you watch the original Star Wars. But definitely the lack just blew my fucking mind again, man. Definitely the symmetry between 4 and 7 just become more and more apparent as you watch it, and I wasn't concerned or worried that this is going to be a rehash of Empire. I didn't think that at all. But I also knew that this first trailer, even before I watched it, I had kind of a mental. I realized something really quickly that I'm pumped to see this. I'm not as pumped as I was for the first thing that we ever got to see about Episode 7 because it's been that 30-year gap. You know what I mean? It's not.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. So, but I mean, I watched it and I went through kind of different stages. Number one, I mean, at first hearing Luke's voice. Awesome. It is very, like we've already talked about, teasery, not trailer, where it's just hitting its stuff and not going to tell you what it is. And you're right, brings up more questions than it answers anything. We didn't see the new villain that's going to be in there. And obviously, and we'll talk about this in a minute, but the last line of the whole trailer throws up a big question mark in a different tangent that looks like they're going to the story. But as I watched the trailer, I had to remind myself, don't expect to have the same level of enthusiasm and excitement we did for the final trailer of The Force Awakens, which in my opinion is one of the best trailers of all time. That just hits so many notes. And I knew this wasn't going to be up to that level, not just because it's not brand new. This is the second part in the sequel trilogy, but because it's going to be a teaser, we're not going to see as much. But as it was over, I didn't have that huge, oh my God, that was awesome. It was like, I'm pumped to see this, and I do have a lot of questions. And then I watched it a couple more times, and as the days gone by, I started thinking, man, I am really glad the way that teaser was done, and I'm really happy the way it looks like this movie is just going on a tangent we wouldn't have expected. Because if it would have been even a little formulaic, you just kind of like, yeah, they're just hitting the pleasure button again. You know what I mean? They're not doing something original. And then you kind of start to wonder, man, without George Lucas there, this stuff is good, and I'm feeling the same way I did about Star Wars back in the time. But it almost like it's not the official, where you're kind of going back and forth in your
more
head.
to come.
Yeah, but the fact that it looks to be so different. I mean, even the title's red, like Revenge of the Sith. The last line you hear is fucking Luke say, I'm sure that it's time for the Jedi to end. Now, I don't think that means he's gone to the dark side and he's Darth Luke or whatever it is, but clearly there's something going on there, and we'll talk about that. But I'm like, man, they're really going in a different direction, because my assumptions were it's going to pick up Rey's training. She's now the next Luke. Luke's going to take the Obi-Wan role. He's going to be the mentor. He's going to say dark side's bad, light side's good, all that. They're not doing that. And I like the fact that they're doing something different that's a little bit scary, because it keeps it original. And so that's just really something that we didn't get as much with The Force Awakens. But what else do you guys want to go into? What were some of your favorite parts of the teaser?
Okay, well, a couple of things that I did kind of pick out, or that it made me kind of stop and rewind, look at it again. But first was just the smashing of Kylo's helmet. First, I thought it was Vader's. It looks like it's not. And also, the one shot
do you think he did that, or do you think it was done?
Well, I mean, it could be for any kind of number of reasons. It could be kind of like
he has been known to have anger issues.
What movie were you watching, man?
Well, ever since
I don't remember that at all.
Ever since
I think I noticed
James
that.
Bond let Rey out of the assault and he just lost it.
Yeah,
so
I love that.
Yeah. But the other thing is that the only shot that we see of him is, it looks like he's still keeping the cross hilt on his lightsaber.
Which we didn't. If they changed that, everybody'd be like, "What?" I mean, that's kind of like his icon. Yeah.
But again, that's part of and kind of almost a throwback to the prequel series. He's now got that scar neatly sliced down his eye, and when I saw that, I'm thinking, that right hand's coming off. It's gonna happen. It's a family rite of passage.
That's right. Every Skywalker, man.
Yeah,
it's coming
I
off.
don't care if you put that in a steel fucking trap. It's coming off. But
how cool would that be to walk by in the movie, just in that world, be like, "What's up, dude? That's where it's going. Just wait. No matter what you do, it's coming off. See you later."
The other piece too is with that shot too, and this might have been because of the lighting, or might have been part of the story or not. But I was trying to dig into the glimmer in his eyes to kind of see if he's got that Sith glow going on with the pupils. And again, it was kind of one or the other.
It's so hard because I remember what you're talking about that we saw in Darth Maul's eyes, which then we saw it in all, I don't remember what that race from Dathomir is called, whatever. We saw it in all of their eyes, but then we also saw it in Anakin's in Episode 3. But I don't remember ever seeing those eyes with Dooku or anybody else. So is that a staple of Dark Side?
Well, it's a staple of the Sith, but essentially it's kind of when they go
berserk.
Or full on.
Okay.
So again, I don't know maybe if he's hitting that point or not, but the other takeaway too, the takeaway pieces were just that one shadowy, not shadowy scene, but it's the one where we kind of see Luke cloaked down, reaching out for R2, and you kind of see something looks like a blazing building or something off on the side, and I'm not sure if that'll be maybe a digging into what we saw in that Rey's quick glimpse.
The Knights of Ren.
Yeah, the Knights of Ren. And
maybe his new Jedi Academy that he was having.
Yeah. And that kind of leads into the last piece, which is, when he's talking about the end of the Jedi. And some of this, too, was kind of influenced because I just rewatched Clone Wars, like the last season. So this kind of, it's particularly like the last couple episodes, and it kind of recapped the whole, the Jedi is just an order. It's just a series of dogmatic principles. And even with the order, if you look at its history, there's been some terrible things that they've done.
Yeah.
So to kind of say that the Jedi needs to be over, it doesn't. I agree to your point that obviously Luke, I don't see him going to the dark side, but I kind of see him as, I came into the Force alone. I got trained by a couple of people, but I wasn't with the Order. I tried doing it kind of the way that the Order did, and now we had the Knights of Ren that slaughtered everybody. Terrible result.
Right.
There might be a change for how, not for a new kind of a new Sith or a new Jedi
just
or
a new
something.
Doctrine.
Yeah, something like that. Almost like Bandu and the Gray.
We're gonna get to that.
Yeah, I mean the whole balance issue, and because when he came into it, he wasn't indoctrinated into like this is the Force in both the light and the dark. It was a lot of kind of more learn as you go, and he had exposure to what each of those was, but he wasn't, I guess, taught or really guided directly by somebody in the Order who has these principles that have been established for thousands of years on this is how you utilize the Force. This is how you learn the Force. This is how you recognize the Force. And this is the stuff you do, and here's the stuff that you don't. And a lot of that is just you just do it this way. And with his approach, and from what he understood when he tried training these guys, and it had such a bad result, it's like there's whatever Rey is going to be, it's not going to be a Jedi. It's going to be some kind of perspective on the Force that's probably new. Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping that he's going to be doing when we're going to see that kick-ass training montage, which I know is going to happen.
Yep. You're the best.
Yeah, exactly. I'm seeing one-handed push-ups and singing Drago at the top of that mountain. But yeah, those were kind of the high points. I mean, the ship visuals. I was sad to kind of see Poe's X-wing blow up, but.
God, you know what though? If there's one trope that I do hope that they borrow from Empire, I mean, Empire's pretty much universally praised as the best Star Wars movie out there, best sequel of all time, whatever you want to call it, is that they use the traditional formula that you hear in countless making of documentaries. It's not the only reason, but it's one of the pivotal reasons that movie was so good. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but you know what I mean, is that first act's introduction, exposition, second act, everything goes into chaos and you put them into hell, and then the third act, Return of the Jedi, is how they get out. And so, in episode 7, I mean, hell, Starkiller Base, for the most part, has like blown up the Republic, right? I mean, they blew up the central planets that maintain the governance and stuff.
The planets, and particularly the fleet that was outside of those.
Yeah,
those were like because you could see if you look at when that blast hit all the planets, kind of like the closer up views on them, not on planet side, but when it was coming, you could actually see the light of the beam actually highlighted the ships that were surrounding each of these planets right before they went out.
Oh, really?
So
I've never noticed that.
And I think the lead into that was when they were talking about the Resistance had the supporting of the Republic fleet, and that was a big sticking point for the First Order.
And
so
now they're the little guy.
So
again.
That's why they get rid of it and use Starkiller Base and just wipe it out. So.
Yeah, because I've got a feeling that people are in the mindset of, well, they blew up Starkiller Base, so now the First Order is basically on the run, or they're the underdog. And no, if you really watch the movie, it's kind of the other way, because the new Senate or whatever is probably basically gone. Everything's in chaos. A lot of the main planets are fucking gone. And you're right. And if the fleet's gone, now we haven't even seen, other than one new Star Destroyer from the First Order. We don't know how many ships that they've got. We don't know how big stuff is. But before we even get into more of that, I actually wanted to talk about some of the points you were talking about. Actually, well, what did you think about, Luke and the whole, I think it's time for the Jedi to end?
What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I didn't know how to take it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could go a lot of different ways.
Right.
I mean, I'm wondering if it does do kind of a full 180 where Rey becomes the aggressor, the darker member of it.
Do you guys really see that happening, though?
I see the potential for it. You saw, I mean, this could just be effective acting, but when she, like, on Force Awakens, you kind of saw she had a couple of pretty aggressive moments, so that's not out of the field of possibility.
Sure. I'm just thinking.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those things, even like the things he's having her embrace, the visions and all of those things, were the things he got cautioned of from Yoda when he was going through his. So clearly he's taken some of the playbook and ripped the pages out and thrown them out.
Right.
I mean, Luke may just be after the most powerful thing he can create to destroy Kylo Ren. Because he wants the whole thing to end. Maybe he wants to be the last Jedi and have it end with him.
God, yeah, it could. I mean, I can't dispute what you're saying as far as the Last Jedi. I'm just thinking, man, if by the end of episode 9, the Jedi are just done, that's kind of a cool 9-episode arc for how this would go. But I'm like, it's kind of a bummer to end on. Like, the Jedi are gone.
No, not necessarily, because again, it's based more around just the concept of the Force. The Jedi are just in order. It's just a group of people.
Right.
It's like kind of saying, well, the Methodists are gone.
The Roman Empire is now gone.
Yeah.
So the Bendu was definitely going through my head when they had those trailer zoom-in shots, and they had the one that obviously looks like it's in Luke's chamber or whatever, where he's got 5 or 6 books on this table. I mean, he's clearly just focusing on whatever's there, and then you can see.
Well, was that his chamber or was that somebody else?
Yeah, that's true. We don't know.
All we saw was a hand and a.
Yep, I'm taking. Well, yeah, I don't know if the person that hand was Luke's. I'm guessing it wasn't because it had a glove on it. But what I'm saying, why my guess is that it was Luke's is it was so minimalistic. Like Luke's kind of solitude life is on that island, and the fact that the cover of the books had the symbol, the crest of the Jedi Order. So I mean, I'm guessing that's Luke's. It might not be, but that was my guess.
Could be what he's found from the last relic of the Jedi.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he said, remember in 7, Han said that Luke was scouring the galaxy looking for,
the Temple of the Jedi.
The first Jedi Temple, but then also in the books, I think it's in Bloodline, that takes place like after Ben has been born and Leia's in the Senate. That Luke is out looking for as many artifacts as he can from the old Jedi Order. Because remember when Palpatine took over, they sacked the Jedi Temple. He turned that into an Imperial palace. So all Jedi knowledge, he was like on a mission to destroy all of it. So there are still old temples all over the place, from thousands of years in the galaxy. But a lot of their consolidated stuff, like that main huge library that they have in the prequels, that's just gone. All this Jedi knowledge is gone. So Luke is going out there trying to get whatever knowledge he can. I wonder if they're going to touch a lot in him communing with like Obi-Wan and Yoda.
Well, I mean, I would.
The Force ghost aspect.
I mean, don't they at least have to explain it away why he wouldn't be if they don't? Because that's kind of a big matzo ball hanging out there when you're like, well, you got people that are like, can live forever, so you can pass on. They could be full-time teachers for the next 1,000 years.
They're hanging out with him.
Don't need to sleep.
They're hanging out with him in the cave.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, can I get 5 minutes?
I don't get really good reception down here,
meditating,
so I can't talk to him.
I understand you're a ghost, but I still need to take a shit. So.
Inappropriate this is. Get the fuck out, man. But I was thinking, like, when it had that zoom in scene on the books, that wooded tree or whatever it was, or that's holding up the wall behind, that whole symbol reminded me so much of the Bendu. That like plant life that he looks like, or that he's hiding, as like a camouflage from the Rebels season, and that we keep talking about. I mean, even the trailer, light, dark, balance. You're right. It definitely seems like they're pointing in that direction for a reason. And they talked about it exactly like that in Rebels. The light and the dark, having balance. The Bendu is neither Jedi nor Sith. He's the one in the middle. So there's a lot of seeds being laid to go in that trajectory, and I think that you're right. I just, myself personally, I mean, you watching Dave Filoni talk for years now, when he's been doing all these seasons of the Clone Wars and Rebels, talking about why the Jedi ultimately fell with his constant conversations with George Lucas, is that the essence of Jedi is selfless completely selfless, other people, not being attached to stuff that inspires jealousy, fear of losing stuff, anger. It's always selfless. Sith are all about the self. That's why they're never happy. They always have to have more. It's an endless cycle. And the reason that the Jedi lose the Empire and the Clone Wars and everything else is they think that they're completely selfless, and they're not. I mean, they're doing stuff for themselves and for power and for everything. They're becoming generals instead of just peacekeepers and all that kind of stuff. And it takes that lesson that Yoda learns as he and Obi-Wan are communing with Qui-Gon that they learn over time, where by the time you see Obi-Wan in 4, 5, and 6, and even in the Rebels that we just saw a couple weeks ago, he's much more... How do you say that? He's just personal growth. He's more atoned. He's more calm. He's more
content.
Yes, exactly. And that by the time we get to the end of the Return of the Jedi, the lesson has been passed on. Luke has got what the Jedi didn't seem to grasp is there are other ways beyond fighting, and he chooses not to fight the Emperor in the end. You know, and then it's Darth Vader that ends up, being redeemed and all that kind of stuff. And so that was the lesson he learned. So if that's the case, and where yes, Jedi is one doctrine of using something. I just hope that if they end up closing the book on Jedi by the end of episode 9, they give us something else to be excited about, because, I mean, future generation, the kids, the whole Jedi principle and selfless, it's cool they're doing something different, but I'm like, don't take away Jedi from us, I mean, fuck, dude, So what, the whole time the Jedi didn't have it right? Like, I get they made mistakes, but come on.
Close, they gave it like it was a B+ effort, but it's...
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know. Would you be happy to see Jedi just being no more and then they just have something new? I mean, I guess I don't mind Knights of Ren because Sith was never as big a deal as Jedi was, but I don't know. How do you feel about that?
It'd be an interesting direction to see where they went with future movies without Jedi.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it'd be like a lot of heist movies. They'd kind of follow that whole fate of the.
Yeah, I was gonna say, at what point are they gonna bring in Charlize Theron?
The fate of the Bendu.
Exactly.
We're gonna see Rey in dreads,
bleach blonde hair.
Yeah.
I don't got friends. I got family.
I don't know where they'd go with it. I mean, I guess to kind of while I'm thinking about it, the other parts of the trailer, obviously the ships as they're on that, and then I don't know if they're kicking up red dust or what's happening there. That looked really cool.
I'm guessing that was just whatever was dragging from those ships, because they did announce this at Star Wars Celebration. The director Rian Johnson said that it's a mining planet. It's a new planet that's way out and uncharted or whatever, but it's a mining planet. And those things that were racing on the dirt are called skimmers. That's all we know at this point.
Skim they did.
But I'm guessing that little thing that they're
could
dragging,
be like a hydrofoil or something. That's
So I'm guessing that thing that was dragging from the ships was like kicking up the dirt, and that's what the red was. It was just the dirt that they were skimming over. Because if you see, I didn't even see this until they pointed it out. But in the distance, the thing that I think that the skimmers are racing towards,
it's the walkers.
Walkers.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get to see update.
Oh, I didn't even see it. I'll have to watch it again.
You see the silhouettes of them in the way background. So we're gonna get new, updated, whatever they are, walkers. So who's not fucking excited for that?
New AT-ATs. Huh?
Yeah. I was gonna say. Well, we saw how effective that kind of approach worked on Hoth. So.
Well, hopefully they've learned from that, because
at this time they don't have Dak.
Yeah.
So
remember
boned.
What we're seeing in this one looks like there's a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, how many walkers were there at Hoth? Like 5 or 6?
Yeah. You saw like at least easily like a dozen.
Yeah. So maybe they're just thinking more numbers. Now we can't fail.
Yeah.
We got these on sale. We're just gonna throw them out there. Turns out they had a bunch of these on a jungle planet.
Yeah.
About 30 years ago.
Used them once.
I think we're going to be all right here. They got a thin candy shell. It's fine.
But no, I'll have to go back and see the walkers now. But I'm wondering how long Finn's going to be in his cryotube.
He's got to come out of there pretty quick, right?
I don't know. But I kind of got the impression when Poe Dameron's X-Wing blew up that he was then in the Falcon.
Oh,
that would be cool, because
that was kind of like, as I
boner.
saw things happen, like I immediately was that, and then I immediately saw the Falcon, and I'm like, Poe.
That makes so much sense, because if you think about it, Rey's not the pilot that Luke was, and I don't think that they're going to take that route with her. Poe's this badass pilot, but now if you got Poe in the X-Wing, having Rey, I guess, with Chewie and the Falcon, okay, but I like that idea way more of having this badass pilot with the ship that did the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs.
It'll be interesting to see his comments on a 50-year-old ship.
Yeah, really. It's a piece of junk.
Yeah, what a piece of junk. That ship's garbage. The garbage will do. That's a good point. That's really cool. I didn't even think about that. That would be awesome.
So no, just as it was going, that's kind of what I saw. But no.
We only saw one quick flash of Kylo Ren.
Yep.
Which, again, I know teaser, but I can't wait to see who this, what is it, Benicio del Toro's playing a villain, which I fucking love that actor. Love that actor. I can't wait to see what they do with him. I think it's been rumored that, yes, we are going to find out about Rey's parentage in this movie. Obviously, we're not going to know until the theaters. They're not going to put it in a trailer. It's not going to get leaked. Everyone's going to say that they know. 2/3 of the internet. I mean, well, probably 50 is going to be wrong. Well, remember what everybody said going into Force Awakens all over the internet? Rey and Kylo Ren are brother sister, and they're this, just like the books, but they changed the names. And everyone says this with such certainty when they don't know, and and almost all of it was bullshit. I mean, everybody was wrong, which is what I fucking love. Like, we don't know. I have no idea who Rey's parents are. I'm assuming I guess it doesn't have to be a Skywalker because we already have the Skywalker bloodline with Kylo. Do you guys think he's going to be redeemed by the end of 9?
I would say so.
Kylo Ren, yeah.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
God, I don't know.
That's gonna be...
Because she said she still sees light in him.
The only way I can see Kylo coming
the whole time.
Yeah, but to me that's just like, now you're just doing Vader over. Yeah, you're bad. Now we brought you back. It's not original to me. I'm not.
But what if it's not 9? What if he does it this time? What if the redemption starts at this point?
See, now here's the only thing that would actually get me to want this. Obviously, I don't think that Luke's going to go bad. He might have a different point of view that makes sense based on what we're seeing.
The Star Wars cop-out answers.
What?
From a certain point of view.
But I don't see them taking Rey and turning her bad. I just don't see that happen. I don't know if I'd want that to happen. Don't get me wrong. If they do it, maybe it'll end up being awesome. But then when you start saying, well, yeah, what if they change it up and have Kylo Ren become good sooner and have Rey go bad right away so that by 3 or 9, it's Kylo Ren's the good versus Rey's the evil. But even then, I'm like, I don't know. Do I even really want that? I don't know. I have no idea.
She's become too powerful for us to control.
Yeah.
Then she better be the fucking daughter of Palpatine or something then. Because
maybe she's the reincarnation of what's his name? The one that Palpatine killed.
Mace Windu.
Plagueis. Darth Plagueis, the wise.
The most powerful Jedi.
Yeah.
Or most powerful Sith ever.
Oh.
I thought Palpatine was the most powerful Sith ever. That's what is
Plagueis
official.
was. Well, He's the one that could cheat death.
It depends
well,
on
no,
your
I mean,
point
he had
of
that
view.
ability, if that's what you call powerful. But the one that finally got the what Darth Bane was trying to do, from what I've read from the official sources, is like the whole rule of 2, so that we'll slowly keep them quiet, keep them out of the spotlight. And the only way that the Sith are going to get more powerful is if you get more powerful enough to kill the other ones. So by thousands of years, you're eventually going to have, what was the end result? Fucking Palpatine. Like, that even put Yoda in his place. Because no one's been able to be, I don't know, but maybe that's open to interpretation. What else? Anything else from the trailer that we're forgetting?
Let's see.
I mean,
I'm sure there's something.
Hearing Luke's voice was just awesome. Even just the breathe in the beginning, and some of the cinematography for these landscapes they're shooting are just awesome.
Yeah, her with the lightsaber, and then Luke standing
off there.
Ryan Johnson said, or who was it? I think it was Ryan Johnson. Maybe it was Kathleen Kennedy or somebody else. Maybe it was J.J. Abrams. I can't remember. But someone said that Mark Hamill is just amazing in this.
Yeah.
Now, again, if you're already in the process, that could all be PR speak, but usually there's some elements of truth to that. So I'm really pumped to see how this goes, where we get from him not talking at all in 7 to him being a very primary figure in this. And I wouldn't be surprised if we lose Luke in this one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He sounds exhausted. He's just this is a
beaten
tired,
down,
tired
whiny
man.
little bitch. His first attempt at Jedi preschool didn't work out, so we better quit and just go ahead and destroy the whole thing. Because I couldn't do it. Better quit. Better call it in right now. Little whiny bitch. Well, that's when Rey steps up and said, oh, yeah? Girl power. Yeah. And then she brings out...
I did get those power converters.
This is my fight song.
Just showed us a quick glimpse of Leia. She finished all her scenes for this. They announced today.
Captain Phasma was briefly in there, at least silhouetted. So
we got to see a little bit of space battle. Besides some X-wings, the A-wings were back. We saw some A-wings in the shots. Have no idea what those other big ships are. I'm assuming they were First Order ships, or I mean, we have no idea. We only got a quick glimpse of that. I think that's really it, isn't it? You guys think of anything else? I think it did a good job.
Excited to see the next trailer.
Yeah, yes. Exactly. Did the exact same thing that the teaser for Force Awakens does. It literally just teased you and got you excited. I mean, God, I remember watching that teaser for 7 the first time with the crossguard lightsaber, and everyone's a little curious, well, how's this going to work? Oh, shit, we were excited about the prequels. That didn't work. And if I remember correctly, at least from my perspective, the teaser for 7 didn't show me, they did it, but it did get you a little excited, and I think that's exactly what this did. I'm just pumped that this looks to be very different than what I would have expected them to do, and I'm really pumped about that too. So, cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think about the teaser for Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Did it get you teased? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, and don't forget you can watch regular episodes of Fractured Focus where we talk about everything from geek culture to nerd news, along with random topics for discussion, and post a topic of the show each day of the week, Monday through Thursday, and attempt to entertain you with our semi-witty banter and our incessant rambling. Don't forget you can check us out in our new YouTube URL, youtube.com/fracturedfocus. With that being said, you guys want to end it off on like a Star Wars line? Breathe. No?
Like that.
Until next time.